Hey guys, and welcome back to today's podcast episode. So in today's episode, we are going to talk all about how to be guided and trust your intuition and how to embrace going with the flow because it's not always the easiest just to trust and let go and go with the flow. So I really wanted to tap into how you can really listen to that inner voice, that inner guidance within you, and also see the guidance around you and really be able to surrender and trust whatever season you're in or navigate whatever is showing up in your life, because these lessons and things that happen, it doesn't always feel the easiest. And I know myself personally, I have really been trying to make sense of certain things and be able to trust and, trust the timing of things. So it felt like the most perfect time for me to record this episode because it's what I am truly navigating. So I feel like I can share from a place of just embodiment and wisdom. So yes, I really hope you enjoyed today's podcast episode. And if you are enjoying the podcast, please do follow it and give it a little rating on Spotify. I just love sharing them with you. For me, trusting the process is about surrendering to the flow of life, because we do not know how life is going to change and flow. And sometimes one small thing happens, or you meet one person and you feel like your whole world has changed, especially if you've met someone new and you're dating like me, and all of a sudden you can go from not knowing a person to all of a sudden feeling so different in life, and life feeling more exciting, or you're filled with this joy, or you're navigating a heartbreak and you've just broken up with someone and your whole world is flipped upside down. So it's surrendering to life in its unexpected ways, and even when it takes these turns, it's really tuning in and having faith that everything happens for a reason, and that each experience, whether it's positive or negative, is ultimately guiding us towards our highest good. And I always like to think if something happens, it's happening for us, not to us, even though when you're in the thick of it, you might not understand why it's happened, especially if you thought this person would be in your life for a long time, or you had a job and suddenly you don't. All of these things can feel like such a big change, but change is the only thing that's constant. And when we encounter challenges or setbacks, it really is an invitation for us to lean in, to trust, and trust even more, knowing that there is this divine plan, I personally believe, unfolding beyond what we can comprehend. And it's hard to put into human words this cosmic order, this divine plan that is just our life. And we don't know what happens, but there's just this beautiful synchronicity, when we meet the right person at the right time, or something happens, or we trust our intuition and we're guided to go somewhere or be somewhere, and then we find out later on why we had to be there, and it almost doesn't make sense, but that's the kind of excitement and magic of living this human life. But how can we cultivate trust, I guess, in the process is what I wanted to talk about, especially when doubt or fear creeps in. And I can speak personally when I say trust has been a very big teacher and also a wound for me. And it's something I am still navigating after it being broken and me being heartbroken last year, learning to trust someone. Oh boy, I didn't realize until I started needing to trust someone new that I actually would have to work through that of really trusting myself. Especially with love, trusting another person with your heart is so scary. But what I'm also learning is that you trust yourself no matter what, because whatever happens, you can pick yourself back up, you can heal, and that you can also have no regrets with anything because you went for it and you did it from a place of love. And I realized that when it comes to trusting other people, it's not so much about the other person, that you're not really asking them for their trust. You are trusting yourself that you have the right intuition with this person. And it's I don't need to trust you. I just need to trust me, that I am making the right decision and that my intuition is right with being with you or with this job opportunity or whatever it is. And cultivating trust requires us, to really tune in and quiet the noise of our minds, because our mind is just our ego, or it's these old stories and old patterns from these things that happened to us in the past. And it really takes us away from the truth of our heart and like what is actually real. Because if we are letting our minds, for example, tell us not to trust someone or be wary of trusting someone, for example, it's not our truth, because our truth is actually to love and to be in partnership and union, or, to evolve as humans. And this evolution, requires growth and requires change. And so we have to trust, these opportunities that come to us, these people that come to us, whatever it is, these situations that we're navigating. We have to trust that this is just our soul's journey that we're going on to grow and evolve. Because if we didn't, we would just stay the same and we wouldn't ever change. And cultivating this trust really is such a practice. And I talk about these practices that we can do to really help strengthen this. And it's what I've also been doing myself, of like, okay, like, how do I trust again when my trust has been broken? And things like, meditation or journaling, spending time in nature, like all of these things can help us reconnect with our intuition and our divine guidance. And we all have our own way of being divinely guided. Like maybe it's just a knowing that you have, or I always see numbers as a way that brings me into the present moment, or it helps remind me that there is this divine guidance at play. Or I'll like click on an audio book or read a quote that is like the exact thing that I needed to hear or read in that exact moment. And it would be so random, because it could be a book I've had in my library for ages, and all of a sudden that day I decide to listen to it, or I click on a random podcast and it is the exact words I needed to hear. And this is the magic that I almost talk about of this divine guidance from the universe, that there's just like this way that we can't even know these things, but things come to us at the perfect time, or these people come into our lives at the exact time that we need them to, in order to evolve and maybe, enter a relationship or heal a wound or whatever it is. But it's so magic. Like the way that life works is so magic. So the more we can just trust the flow of things happening, the more we can let go of the control of us wanting things to be the way that we think that we want them in the times that we want them. And it's important to, I feel, let go of the need of controlling every outcome, and instead embracing the idea that like we are the co-creators of our reality. And there is this beautiful sort of choice that we also do get. Like we can choose to do something, or we can choose a completely different path. And I do believe that they both will bring us the same sort of lessons and to the destination that we need to get to. But for example, like me moving to Bali, my whole life has unfolded in the most beautiful ways, and I have met and loved so many people here that if I had chose a different path, I would have met amazing people and had amazing loves, but it would have been completely different. And I really had to trust my intuition and follow that divine guidance of what my heart and soul was telling me, in order to be where really that I am truly, I feel I'm meant to be. And I feel like in your soul when you are in something with someone, or you're in a place and you feel like this is not where you're meant to be, because we will get these nudges from the universe, or we just have this feeling that is telling us to make a change or get out or do something different, or someone will come to us and present us with an opportunity. And it's our control that we have in our mind of, this idea of, okay, what if it doesn't work out, or these stories or these narratives, and you really have to let them go and just, like I said, embrace whatever is happening or whatever is showing up, and just go for it. Because if we try and hold back because we think that the time is not ready, we are just slowing our progress down. We are just slowing things down, because we might have a story of, oh, I'm not ready for that yet, or it's not the right time, when realistically there is no other time than the present moment. And if you just take that leap of faith and go for it, the most amazing things will happen. I have been hurt, right? I spoke about this. And if you've been hurt in the past, it can really be hard to discern what is truth, what is pain, and almost what is your ego. But I have found tapping into my intuition leads us towards that right path and brings us back into our hearts. And I believe our hearts always hold the truth. When we get out of our mind, when we let go of the stories or let go of the pain, our heart will guide us, and our soul, like I feel like our heart is like the home of our soul. It's like that knows the truth, and our soul won't almost take you in the wrong place. Like it won't mislead you, is what I'm trying to say. And when you let your mind make decisions for you, almost based off logic, firstly, this is not a feminine, I say, principle. And I have a whole podcast episode on masculine and feminine principles and like ways of being, but it's you know, the logic in our mind that's trying to actualize things and factualize things versus like letting things just be and flow and just happen the way they're meant to. And I have a really beautiful story from when I was in India. Like I had all these ideas and these lists and these things I wanted to do. And then the most magical experiences came from the things that I couldn't even have imagined and the things that were completely out of my control. And I felt like that was the biggest gift that I got from that trip to India, was just the crazy synchronicities, and the people we met at the perfect moment gave us everything we could have wanted and everything we never knew we needed or was even possible. But yeah, India for me was just, you know, that reminder that these synchronicities and opportunities align perfectly with where you are meant to be in that very moment. And for me, it confirmed that when we trust our intuition, the universe conspires to support us in every single step of the way. And you could say God or the universe, whatever resonates with you, but that you are being divinely guided and also protected in ways from, you know, situations, especially if something is out of your control. And say you go through a breakup, it's like this almost divine protection that something better is meant for you. And if this thing didn't end, or this job, you know, you didn't lose that job, that you wouldn't be presented with something even better, because we think we want something and then there's this even bigger thing that we never even thought was possible waiting for us. And yeah, I love to think of that in relationships and stuff, that it's like, oh, if this person isn't for me, someone better is, or if this job isn't for me, something better is. And if we try and control and, you know, manipulate or let go of what it is that we really want truly in our hearts just to keep what we have, we are never going to open those new doors or open those new opportunities. And it's also not to say to not appreciate what you have and think that the grass is always greener on the other side. I'm not saying that. I am saying if you have something and it's beautiful and it's serving you and you're so happy with it, like cherish that with everything that you have. But it's more, if something isn't working for you, don't feel the need to control and hold on because you think that you're going to go without or you're going to get something worse. Like, that is not the truth. That is just these stories that we have in our head. But yeah, really being grateful is where I'm going with that one, for what you do have, if it is something that is serving you in life. But my advice would always just be to remember that trusting the universe and like really tapping into this divine guidance is a practice, and it's not this destination that we just like figure out, or we just, you know, one day get it and then it's done. It's like a constant for me, tuning in, asking for the signs, asking for my intuition to really guide me and lead me. And if I'm catching myself in a moment of questioning my trust for someone, or questioning, you know, am I doing the right thing? Am I doing the wrong thing? Like really asking myself, what do I desire? And could this give me that outcome? And if the answer is yes, trusting that and going with the flow with that until it doesn't flow anymore. Start by taking small steps every single day towards trusting yourself and the universe. Like, do the meditation, do the journaling, ask for the signs, whatever it is that you feel called to, or go to that coffee shop that your intuition is randomly guiding you towards. Because I have a story of, I randomly had this urge to go to this restaurant and it made no sense to me whatsoever because it was so out of the way and it was going to add like 40 minutes to my journey, and I really wasn't looking cute, and so I wasn't really sure why I was to go there, but I just trusted it. And I saw a guy there and you know, when you're just like, oh my God, like, I don't know if this will ever manifest to anything, but that was the reason I was meant to go there, was to see that man and meet that man. And I really believe like the universe had me in that moment. And I was like, thank you, God. Thank you, Spirit. Because had I not gone there, I would not have met that man. And it has been a really beautiful, you know, growth that I have gone through so far with that. And just, it's made me really happy, and it's been a really beautiful, like, meeting someone and getting to know someone. And had I not, you know, trusted my intuition and gone to that meat restaurant, I would have never met them. And it's crazy how one person can impact and change your life so much just through following your intuition and meeting them. And you can never plan these things. That's what I'm saying. Like, sure, we can jump on the dating apps and all that, but like, when things happen in real time without planning or without control, they are truly the most magic in my eyes. And yeah, there's those unexpected ways that just, you know, make you believe in something and make you believe that like meeting people isn't by accident. And yeah, most importantly, I really just wanted to say, like, be gentle with yourself on your journey. And this is, you know, advice to myself of being gentle with myself and not beating myself up when I do find the past sort of fears and doubts creep in, because it's just, you know, the human experience and we're not perfect. And it's about trusting the process and embracing that unfolding and mystery of life with curiosity and courage, and really not perfection, because we're never going to be perfect, especially as humans. And if you're a woman, like, just like living with a very open, vulnerable heart, it is going to get hurt, and it is going to require showing up and you know, navigating the pain and the heartbreak and things that have happened to you in the past, but not letting these things define you, and not letting them be the reasons that you let something amazing go. And yeah, I do feel that with the almost like, you know, trying to control our current situation and our current, you know, narrative of where we think we should be in life. We have these ideas of what we think our life should look like at this time, or a way that we want it to be, but we can miss out on the most beautiful opportunities and things for us if we don't just take the opportunity and take the chance and just go for it and live in the moment sometimes and live from the heart. It's just this life that we get to live, and if we don't choose to live it and show up, and we miss the messages, we miss the people, we miss the signs, we are the ones missing out. So it's up to us to really tune in and be conscious and be aware and really make the most of living and this moment and where we're at right now, because we're never going to get that back. And so yeah, it's really just the thing that helps me just trust the flow and surrender, is knowing that I'm never ever going to get the same moment again. So to fully make the most of it, and just know that no matter what happens, it was meant to be that way, and something great is going to come from it. So yeah. Oh my God, I love recording podcasts for you guys. I just like go off on one and I have no idea what I say, but I feel it will, the right person, if you are listening to this, you needed to hear this. It was a message for you, and I really believe that. So thank you so much for tuning in. If this is the first episode you have listened to, if you have listened to all of them, I am so grateful. I would love to have you back for more, and I will leave a little suggestion box in the comment section here, so you can let me know what podcast episode you would like to hear. And I hope you have an amazingly, divinely guided day.